If you're inquisitive like me, you're constantly questioning stuff. I was just lubing the tongue. This is the lock and roll hitch for the Opus. I was just lubing the tongue needle point because we're taking the trailer out this weekend, but got kind of frustrated with having to change grease guns from the fitting for the Zert fittings underneath the trailing arms over to a needle point. So I opted to go over and get some of these metric 6x1 regular straight Zert fittings. It turns out it fits perfectly and find it a lot easier to lube than the needle point. But then I was looking at the lock and roll hitch that goes to the truck, and I found this right here. There's this little bolt looking thing with a bunch of paint on it. I thought that's kind of weird. Doesn't look quite right. And if I have to lube the tongue itself, why wouldn't I lube the hitch, right? So these come in a 10-pack, and the first one I put into the tongue of the Opus didn't work. So we swapped it out, and immediately it worked. Grease came out, and it pumped all the dirt, crap, and corruption out, and now it's super simple. But I went using the same 7mm wrench, which actually I think it's standard, or SAE, not metric, but pull this out, and it turns out this right here is not a bolt. It's a needle point fitting, grease fitting. That's when this hitch was painted, it was probably painted flat, and the paint dried and hardened there. If you look on the other side, it's hollow. Now if you look in here, this is also hollow and threaded. Just so happens that same metric number 6 Zert fitting threads in here. And take this same wrench and snug it. I mean, literally, like, there, it's tight. Okay. Now you can take the grease gun, fitting in the link in the description below, and when I pump this full, some really nasty stuff comes out of here because I didn't know it needed to be lubed. Now, the first time I did this, I actually took myself and my neighbor, because I was putting this on and it was grease was leaking out of the hose at both ends, the handle, it was coming out everywhere, coming around the fitting, but it just, I had confidence something wasn't right here. So we put it in the neighbor's truck, and I was pumping it full of grease while he went like back and forth, and all of a sudden it went from full pressure and really hard to just flowing like water. And this black disgusting grease just came flowing out of here. So now, I don't know how many of you know this, but this should be lubed every outing, just like the tongue, and maybe see it start flowing out of here. I might be almost out of grease at this point though. There it comes. There it goes. But see, now it's starting to flow red. That's the same color as the grease. But if I get you a sample from over here, how black that is, it's because it was never lubed. Now, go away, flies. So now, we got red grease coming out. It's perfect. So if you're like us, you have this little bolt that's black on the top. It's not a bolt, it's a needle point Zert fitting. If it's covered in paint, you can try and clean it, but I got 10 of these for, I think it was $6 at the local store. A lot easier to just swap it out. All you need is well, I used a 7mm wrench and it worked perfectly. So we'll do a more in-depth video. I just wanted to get this out right away because I didn't know about it. We're taking the trailer out this weekend. Maybe you are too, so it'd be good to know. So we'll do a more in-depth video. If you haven't already subscribed to Bluebird Adventures, please do so. And we'll bring you more tips and tricks as we find them, discover them, and people show us. We can all learn together. So don't forget to comment below and hit subscribe, and I'll see you out there. Cheers. I got tired of having two different points of, or two different tools to lube this lock and roll hitch. This is the factory needle point, but I'm going to change it out to a Zert fitting. What are the chances it's going to break off? It's got clearance. I was told to use the needle point fitting because it might break, so I don't know, let's give it a try. I can't extract it if it snaps off. There are tools for that, so I'll be the guinea pig.